Hey everybody, welcome back to Historical Lights Nightly Chat and Toast. Have a very special guest with us this evening, Right Worshipful Brother Michael Stoops. My brother, if you don't mind, I'll let you further introduce yourself.
Good evening, brothers. I am the longest serving Grand Senior Warden of Kansas since I believe about 1919. I think I surpassed the World War II Grand Senior Warden a couple days ago. So pleasure to be here tonight.
Fantastic. Really appreciate you being on, my brother. Getting our other screen popped up here so we can see comments and all. Give me 1 second on that. And I'm going to have double audio there. Give me 2 seconds. So, Brother Stoops, how has quarantine been affecting your life?
So it's been a little different here. I own a bed and breakfast, so I have seven bedrooms, 5.5 baths. Prior to the stay-at-home order, my 26-year-old daughter decided it was in her best interest to move back in here for the time being with a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. So we have the granddaughters, my daughter, my 21-year-old son, and my wife all living at the bed and breakfast now. And it's been a little different. It's been very enjoyable to have the granddaughters and my daughter here under the roof with us, but a little different than just my wife and I taking care of ourselves. That's for sure. So
big change of pace, but at least you got some room there to spread out a little bit.
yeah, not making any money off the inn right now, but got plenty of room for the family. So
For sure. Well, my wife's in real estate, and they were talking about today that they pretty much after this whole thing's over that the market's just going to boom because everyone's going to be so tired of their houses, just going to want out completely.
I hope so, because we actually close on a new house tomorrow that we've been looking for. So
Hey, congrats.
time to flip it real quick. We don't know. We'll see. But no, we've been looking for a house up closer to where my wife works. And so we found one up in Shawnee, and we're going to move up there, close on it tomorrow morning. So that
Very cool.
Life goes on.
Right on. Well, congratulations, man. That is awesome to hear. Let's see, we got a bunch of people joining in with us this evening. Of course, my wife getting everything shared out. We got Brother Chauncey Boyd with us. Hey, Brother John McCracken, Patrick Carr, Justin Staley. Brother Maddox is on here, Martin Jacks, Brad Drew, and the list goes on. Hey, Most Worshipful Brother Bob Talbot and Most Worshipful Brother Kellerman, plus Bob McClarty, sorry, and Michael Brewer as well. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you drop a comment. Let us know that you're here and how you guys are doing and keeping up with all this. Appreciate you guys joining in night after night. For those of you that might be joining for the first evening, we've been doing this, God, seems like years now. Good 15 days, I think, at this point. Big goal was to come on nightly through the quarantine and take 15 minutes to join with our brothers, sharing a little bit of history as we always do with Historical Light, chat with the brothers, and then end it with the traditional 9 p.m. toast. So we've been doing that nightly, and we'll continue it for the foreseeable future. And we really appreciate everyone joining in with us. We even got our current Grandmaster, Most Worshipful Tony Borum, just signed on as well. Good to see you, my brother.
Looks like I better stay on the straight and narrow tonight.
Yeah, no pressure. All the brass is in the room. All right, well, if you guys are watching this, make sure to share it out with the hashtag #TimeToToast. Speaking of toasting, Brother Stoops, what are you toasting with this evening?
Well, I got a very special product tonight.
Oh, just went on mute there.
About that, San Pellegrino lemon flavored sparkling water, or as my wife and daughter call it, bougie water. So there we go.
Well, we've had a whole bunch of different drinks, man, but I don't know. I got to tell you, you might need to slow it down just a little bit. I think that's the hardest one we've had on here yet. But I will double that with you. I've also got a sparkling water beverage with me, and then probably do the toast. I'm still working through the ever-ending bottle I get made fun of this Powers whiskey. But I've actually really enjoyed looking into the history on there, and so it's the oldest Irish whiskey bottled. And obviously, you know, Powers, my name. But there is like a family reunion every year, the Power Clan family reunion in Ireland that I am just dying to go to one of these years. It is massive. People from all around the world go up there, and from what I read, it's tied in one way or another with the family that was responsible for this whiskey company as well. So one day, hopefully, make it out there. Be very, very cool. But I just thought it was really neat. You see Powers on there, which is my name, and you look at the guy's actual name on here is John Power. Well, looking into my family history, up until just a few generations ago in Kentucky, my family name was also Power. And it went from one census report to another, and they refer to the family as Powers. And I could just imagine that Kentucky Twain filling out those census report and, oh yeah, that's the Powers over there. And now I have it tattooed on me that I'm Powers. So set in stone.
That's the way it happens.
That's the way it goes. Well, brother, we didn't get a chance to have you on. We were supposed to have you on last night, and in true historical light fashion, hit some more technical difficulties. So apologize for the inconvenience there, but so thrilled that we got a chance to have you on this evening. You sent me a very suspicious picture that I was really digging into there. Looks like you have something pretty cool to share with us this evening. So we'll let you go off on that.
So I found a few things over the years that I've decided need to be saved and put to a different purpose. They were items that were operative in their previous lives, and I kind of saved them from some different antique places, and I'm going to put them to a speculative use here in a couple years. So the first thing I found was just a nice old wooden square with a metal. It's just, just nice workmanship, brass. There's nothing left on the metal blade. You can't see any numbers. Nice rusty patina, a little bit pitted, but it had a good life as an operative tool, and now I think it deserves to be a speculative tool in the future. So that's one I found. Another one I picked up was just a set of compasses. It's a older set, still works. It's missing the rivet here in the point at the top, but still works. Just nice patina, rusty. I'm not going to clean them up. They had their life. They did their work, and now we're going to put them to a speculative use instead of operative. And one thing I found this at an antique store here in Baldwin City, Kansas. They said it was a antique apple masher. And brothers, if you're mashing apples that can do the damage on this piece of equipment that has on it, you need to just throw those apples back. So I picked this up. I'll put it back a little bit. It is well worn. It's heavy. It's solid. The striations on it, you can see where it's actually struck very sharp corners of stones. These were not apples that this thing was hitting. These were stones. So this is an antique setting maul, well used, very well used, that made its way to this little tiny antique store in Baldwin City, Kansas. And a couple weeks before the stay-at-home order was put in place, I happened to walk through that store and see this antique apple masher. And it just, I'm like, you know what? What's the chances of this thing? Who knows how old it is? I have no idea. I mean, it looked ancient when I got it. But you can see the cut marks in it. What's the chances that this thing made its way to an antique store in Baldwin City, Kansas?
Right.
And the Grand Senior Warden of Kansas happens in there. I go in there once every 18 months, 2 years, and just wander through. And this thing's sitting there just begging for me to buy it, right? And I'm like, and there's times in our lives when we think, are we on the right path? Are we doing the right thing? Is this what the grand architect wants me to do? And then you find something like that, and it's just like, yep, there's the sign. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm on the right path, and here's the tool that'll help me do it. So I don't think you'll see a fancy gavel in a couple of years. I think you'll see this sitting in the Grand East. And
that would be fantastic.
Why not? Bob Cooper from the Grand Lodge of Scotland, historian over there, just posted something on his individual Facebook page about how in the ancient ritual, the word was maul. Mm-hmm. And somewhere they started saying gavel instead of maul. And so
Okay.
the traditional tool that was used at the different stations changed with the wording. So we lost the gavels. I'm sorry, we lost the mauls that were being used, and we
Right.
started seeing gavels being used because the word changed. So you know what? I think this is a fine old tool. It lived its life as an operative tool, and now it'll get reused as a speculative tool in a couple of years in the Grand East. So
I
uh,
love that, man. That is
I was
fantastic.
excited to see it. Yeah, I mean, is it Masonic history? I, who knows? It's operative Masonic history, and I think it deserves a place in our fraternity now for at least a year. So
I fully agree. And I adore items like that because, in masonry today, obviously we're in the speculative side of things, but we come from those operative roots, right? And everything you see in masonry today is decorative. It's shiny, it's mass produced, it's molded. It would not hold up for a second in an operative form. You see items like that, whether it was ever owned by someone who observed the craft in one way or another, who knows? But to look at an item like that and just imagine all the different projects it worked on, the different buildings it was responsible for, being a part of, every line and indent on that maul you're holding there holds a story. And to me, that's pretty special. And I think it very easily ties in with our Masonic values that you could associate that very, very easily. And if you can do that, then fantastic. I think it's a well-served piece. That's awesome, man. And I know that antique store you're talking about. I've been out there twice, and I'm pretty sure that's the one I bought my 1964 Fat Boy safety Gillette razor that I still use to this day. You can't find them like those days, man.
yeah, there's actually a old 1920s pinball machine in there right now that
Is there?
yeah, I've got my eye on. It's in great shape, but I don't know. We'll see if we have room for it in the new house, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't been out there in a while. We're big antique store buffs. The kids and wife like to play a neat game where they run inside and the first one to find something Masonic is gets points, and they try to add them up to the store. So
There you
yeah,
go.
it's always fun. So we try to hit all the different little antique shops all around the area. But fantastic. So going to be the main piece for the Grand East here in no time at all. That's awesome,
Well,
man.
I still have to get elected, so
That's true. Yeah.
I've been paying people to vote against me, so I've got a little more time to pay a few more people off to vote no. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's awesome. So from this point, not to put any cats out of the bag or anything, but what are the plans moving forward? Is there any kind of a date in mind, or I mean, I know it's hard to have anything solid until we get this out of the rain, but as far as the postponement of the Grand Lodge session.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too much to that because we don't really have any plans, solid plans. We did discuss it last night at the COA meeting, the Council Administration meeting, and it's just so up in the air right now. The governor just extended the stay-at-home order until the 3rd of May,
Right.
and we don't know what that's going to look like still. There's some talk that maybe we could have a combined annual communication / leadership academy situation this year. We just don't know. I mean, we don't want to flood everybody with a lot of Masonic events, large Masonic events coming right back out of this. There's people that haven't seen their families. They won't have seen their families for a month. There's people that have to get back to work. So we need to be mindful of that and measure Masonry in its proper perspective, right? So we'll definitely do the planning to make sure that we do have the annual communication. It has to be done, and we will do that. When, where, and how, it's just really still up in the air. But we want to make sure that everybody understands that Masonry has its place, and we have to keep that in proper perspective.
Yeah, well said, man. And that is a fantastic point that I don't think a lot of people think about coming out of this. Even though so many of us have been at our homes, there is going to be a serious decompression period of just one norm to a different way of life, getting back to it all over again. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, Well, we are at 8:59, coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. Right Worshipful Stoops was gracious enough to join us this evening to offer up a traditional toast. So, my brother, I will hand it to you. Give our toast.
All right, brothers. Well, sometimes I'm original and sometimes I'm not. And in this case, we had a lot of old items that we went back and looked at tonight. And my toast is going to go back to an old publication. Dwight L. Smith, past Grand Master of Indiana, wrote several articles. One of his writings was Whither Are We Traveling? He wrote this in 1963, so 57 years ago. He was a visionary, I think, of understanding where Masonry was going and the pitfalls that were ahead. And he wrote, "I shall propose no new bright ideas, not one. All I'm going to advocate is that Masonry remain Freemasonry, and that if we stray from the traditional path, we had better move back to that main line while there is yet time, to restore the prestige and the respect, the loyalty and the devotion that was once ours." So, brothers, my toast tonight is going back to that main line and restoring the loyalty and devotion that was once Freemasonry's. Cheers, brothers.
You're here. Cheers. Well said, my brother. Well said. So I want to really thank you for joining us this evening to offer that up. It's really kind of cool because these guest hosts are kind of responsible because of you. You had submitted a video for us to put on. I hadn't even thought of it. It was fantastic. You have a really good way with words. But then we started saying, hey, well, yeah, we'll get some other people on as well. So I had to get you on live and
right.
Just kind of thank you for starting everything off. It's gone over fantastic, but true blessing to be able to chat with you this evening, my brother. Really appreciate your words. And for all of you out there, thank you so much for joining in. We still got some people joining in. Looks like Brother David Neal's comment on here said, hello, Brother Right Worshipful Mike and Worshipful Brother Alex. Good evening, my brother. Good to see you.
Hello, Brother David.
Keep in mind that we'll be doing this every night for the foreseeable future. So tune in with us, 8:45 Central Standard Time. Like we said before, we'll share a little bit of history, chat with our brothers, and end it off with a traditional toast. So until then, stay safe, be well, take some time to save history. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.